Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in to the latest prediction video for the next UK general election from the Gavin Partridge YouTube channel. So we're going to be looking at the latest prediction from Electoral Calculus in a moment for May 2022 based on the opinion polls that were conducted during the month of April 2022. We'll have a look at those opinion polls as well. And see how how they came out. I'll have a look at approval and disapproval for both the Prime Minister and leader of the opposition. And if that wasn't enough, we'll have a look at the government approval as well. So sit back, relax, and enjoy, and we'll talk you through the latest prediction for the next UK general election, which is expected no later than May 2024. The latest UK general election prediction will be with you in a moment. Just say that if you're enjoying the videos on the channel, the vlogs on the channel, videos on the channel at the moment, please can you like, share, subscribe, and thank you so much everybody for doing that for us. Right, okay, so I shall turn off the webcam and we'll move over to Electoral Calculus and we'll have a look at their latest prediction. So here we go then, 3, 2, 1. Whoops. 3, 2, 1. There we go. The latest prediction is for Labour to be 11 short of an overall majority. So hung Parliament, but Labour, Labour largest party, and 11 short of an overall majority is the central prediction this month from Electoral Calculus. That's an improvement in Labour's position over last month when they were predicted to be 24 short of an overall majority. So clearly the opinion polls during the month of April 2022 did swing slightly anyway towards Labour. So let's go through the prediction then, and we'll have a look at the numbers. So of course we've got our party columns just here: Conservative, Labour, Liberal Democrat, Reform, Green, SNP for example. 2019 votes and seats just there, and then predicted votes based on the opinion poll during the month of April in this column, and then the margin of error in terms of predicted seats just here. So Conservatives predicted to get 33.6% of the vote at the next general election, giving them a predicted seats total of 247 seats. Now there is a margin of error within that, so on the low end they could be down as low as 129 seats, which would be absolutely catastrophic result for them. And on the high end, they could be as high as 356. If they are, then that will give them enough for an overall majority. Labour predicted to be on 39.6% of the vote, so they have a 6% lead based on the opinion poll during the month of April 2022. That gives them 315 seats in the central prediction. 11 short of the 326 they need to form an overall majority, but would still be able to govern with that. The margin of error would see them as low as 214 seats at the lowest end. On their worst day, at the high end, they could get a landslide majority of 445 seats. Liberal Democrats on a central prediction of 13 seats, could be as low as 7, could be as high as 32. That is on 9.8% of the vote, a little bit down on what they got in 2019, interestingly. Reform on 2.3%, they don't get any seats. Green on 6%. They get 1 seat, and at the high end, they could go to 2. SNP on 3.8%. That gives them a central prediction of 50 seats. On the low end, they could go down to 25. On the high end, they could get 53 out of 53, all of them. And then implied on 0.9% with 5 seats in the central prediction. Could be as high as 7, could be as low as 3, and then of course we go down into the other parties just here. So Labour 11 short of an overall majority, able to govern with that. Would not even need SNP support with that, actually. They could govern with the 13 from the Liberal Democrat and the 1 Green. You know, that would get them to 326 and 2 overall majority if they wanted to form a coalition. Of course, they could just do some sort of conference and supply type arrangement for their first Queen's speech and budget. But in any case, on 315, Labour would be able to govern with that with that prediction. You know, if that's how it ended up. Labour 11 short, they would be able to form the next government, and the Conservatives would be out. Right, so this is how the opinion polls look based, you know, that prediction is based upon from Electoral Calculus. So this takes us through all of the polls from the start of April to the end of April. You see, but generally the Labour lead is in single digits. So I suppose that's the first thing to say, other than this one poll, which was DeltaPoll from the 13th, 14th of April. Whoops, let's just answer the phone. Okay, sorry about that phone answer. Right, so talking about DeltaPoll, wasn't we? So, we can see that the highest Labour lead during April was from DeltaPoll, for the Mail on Sunday, which gave Labour an 11% lead. Other than that, though, the Labour lead during April was generally in single digits, ranging from like 2% at the low end, which was Opinium just there, giving Labour a 2% lead. All the way up to like 8-9% in quite a few of the polls. So Survation gives Labour a 9% lead, for example. So yeah, the ranges are in single digits, mid to upper single digits, with one or two coming down in the lower end single digits. We've got Ipsos MORI, one of the longest standing pollsters, been doing opinion polls right way since 1970s, I think, showing Labour with a 5% lead. Savannah Conres at the very end of the month, giving Labour a 6% lead. It is a sea of red, you know, from beginning to end of the month. We've seen Labour solidly with a lead, albeit it's not an excessive lead, so it's not hugely, not an unassailable lead. I suppose that's the common comfort for like Conservative supporters, but this is not an unassailable lead. This could, you know, the Labour lead is small enough that the Conservatives could pull this back and go back into the lead. But for the time being, we do see Labour, you know, solidly ahead across all opinion polls that were conducted during the month of April. This is how the overall graph is looking now in terms of the opinion polls for this Parliament. So this takes us right way from the very start of the Parliament, right way from general election in December 2019 to see it all the way up to present. Actually, you see again, Labour has got a solid lead. It's not a huge lead, but it's not an unassailable lead, but they have got a solid lead, generally hovering around 40% now, which is an important, you know, milestone to be hovering around 40%. That's kind of like where all parties want to be if they want to form a majority government. So 40% is always a psychologically anyway important barrier. Conservatives somewhere in the low to mid 30s generally. So again, we kind of like seeing a 5 to 10% Labour lead on a lot of these opinion polls, but the red dots here are like the high end for Labour, and the blue dots down here are like the low end for Conservatives. You will notice that the Conservatives low end polls, which are around here, aren't as low as they were, you know, around the turn of the year. So the Conservative position possibly improved ever so slightly, but still solidly and consistently behind Labour. Liberal Democrats, they're down here. So again, hovering around a 10% mark. Greens just there, and Reform just there. So they're the smaller parties. So yeah, you know, definitely a consistent Labour lead. Not a huge lead at this stage, but it is pretty consistent. It's a big turnaround from what we had in 2021, where through most of 2021, actually the Conservatives were leading Labour. And, you know, it's clearly the case that Labour have got a solid lead at the moment. As far as approval and disapproval are concerned, Boris Johnson, very unpopular, of course. We talked about this in the last video. So Boris Johnson, sea of red here through 2022 so far, right away from the start of the year, with Ipsos MORI from the 7th to the 10th of January, all the way to the latest poll, which gets us to the 20th, 22nd of April. We see just a continuous sea of red for Boris, and sometimes very extremely so. So, for example, we have got Ipsos MORI. Let's take the very first poll from January 2022, where we have a net approval, or net disapproval, I suppose, for Boris Johnson of -36. Very unpopular, just 20% approving of him, 56% disapproving of him. And that takes all the way up to like the very latest poll, which is Opinium, which was conducted from the 20th to 22nd of April, giving Boris Johnson a net approval of -33, with 26% approving of him and 59% disapproving of him. There are various ways you can ask the question: approve, disapprove, favourable, unfavourable, satisfied, dissatisfied, well, badly, in terms of what YouGov do. But it comes away with the same result, really, however you ask the question, which is a very unpopular period in the Prime Minister's prime ministership. As far as Keir Starmer is concerned, he's a little bit more popular than he was. So if we go down to 2021 polls, you'll see for most of the year, or nearly all of the year actually, he was unpopular, and quite consistently so. Earlier on in 2021, but we do see some green then. He goes through a more unpopular phase through the summer and autumn of 2021, in particular until the very last poll, which was Opinium on Christmas Day. And sometimes very significantly so. So, for example, -26 just there is very poor, really, for a leader of the opposition. However, in 2022, it has become a little bit less unpopular, maybe a little bit more popular, I suppose. So, we've got Opinion just here from the 12th to 14th of January, giving him a net approval rating of +4. We've also got repeal Wilton here from the 27th of March, giving him an approval rating of +2. We're not setting the world alight here. We're not talking about the most popular leader of opposition that we've ever seen by any means, but compared to where he was, a while ago, compared to where he was, he is a little bit more popular, or a little bit less unpopular than he was. Having said that, the two polls in April that did approve and disapprove, which was repeal Wilton and Opinion, they both sailing back into negative territory, -5 and -6 there. Compared to Boris Johnson, though, obviously he is going through, Keir Starmer is going through a more popular phase. So net, Keir is definitely more popular at this point than Boris. His negatives are nowhere near as negative as Boris Johnson's are. So net, Keir is more popular than Boris right now. And finally, in terms of government approval and disapproval, this is how it's looking. Government is continuing to be very, very unpopular, and is actually getting more unpopular as we're going month by month. This is the latest tracker from YouGov. Latest from the 5th of May shows government disapproval at 61%, government approval at just 22%, and don't knows at 17%. So we're very close, actually, to approval and don't know crossing over. This is the most unpopular the government has been since latter stages of 2019, so summer to early autumn 2019, when we saw the end of Theresa May and Boris Johnson took over, and Parliament was in paralysis before the December 2019 general election. So yeah, we're very, very unpopular government at the moment, led by an very unpopular Prime Minister. Leader of the opposition has gained in popularity, is not as unpopular as he was, but he's not setting the world alight in terms of his popularity either, but is a little bit, the opposition, and the leader of the opposition is a little bit more popular than the government and the Prime Minister. So at the moment, if you're a Conservative supporter, it all looks a little bit grim. The only crumb of comfort is that, as I say, the Labour is not at this point unassailable. As long as it stays in single digits, then there is a possibility of a revival for the Conservatives as we go into the back end of the Parliament. But for now, definitely, we do see that the government and the Conservatives and the Prime Minister are pretty unpopular. Okay, so that's brought you all up to date for May's prediction. We'll do it all over again in June, and we'll see how the opinion polls during the month of May stacked up. And yeah, we're going to get ever closer to the general election, of course, and as we get closer to it, these vlogs will probably become a little bit more regular, I would have thought. So during the general election, we may do them like every other day or something like that. But we'll see. If you enjoy them and find them informative, then please let me know in the comments. And yeah, what do you think about all of this? What do you think about the government and the opposition and so on? Let me know in the comments. Right then, so for this prediction video, that's all for now though, and thanks for watching.